You're listening to The VO Life with Troy Holden.
So before this episode ever starts, I had to play it back and listen to it. I'm probably going to step on toes today, and I may hurt some people's feelings, and that's not the intent. You guys know that. I'm just trying to be honest with you, and there's a lot of people who won't get up off the bench, and I'm just going to leave it at that. You'll hear it in the podcast. I also want to say, although I say in this podcast, I don't know a lot about some people's marketing programs. I have a lot of friends who are in different marketing programs, and they all are being successful with those. So the names that I mentioned, I know people who have used those people, and they have really enjoyed what they've done for them. There are probably more, and if I missed you, accept my apology. It was not on purpose. It's just I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. And without further ado, let's move on.
This is the VO Life Podcast. All about the ups and downs of being a voice actor in the real world. Casting sites, agents, marketing, using every resource to make sure we keep growing and reaching for more. We may not be superstars, but we're grinding our way up. From the occasional regional to the local 15 and everything in between, we are living the VO life. Join us weekly for recent happenings and interviews with the people who can help you on your walk through the VO life. Now, here's your host and fellow traveler, Troy Holden.
Hey, VO Life. It's Troy Holden here on the VO Life podcast. And where have I been? I was going to do some shorts for fall, and it's been 8, 9, 10 days. I got one out, and I went MIA. But let me tell you, last week was one of those weeks where sometimes you just got to do personally what you got to do, right? And that's what I had. That's what I had to do because my wife said so. Now we had to move. We had to move her daughter on Monday. And then Tuesday, it was like recovery day, and then I was busy, and then it was another day we had to go do something else, traveling, gone most of the day. And Thursday, I had, and a lot of you know this, I had gastric bypass a long time ago, 2006, if I remember correctly. So, it's pushing several years. And in 2016, I had a blocked intestine due to scar tissue wrapped around my small intestines. And Thursday, we had cooked some steaks, and man, I don't know what happened, but I locked up. Inside just locked up. I was eating, and all of a sudden I felt just like completely packed. And it started backing up into my esophagus, and next thing I know, I'm just sick and hurting so bad. And we were actually about midnight, we were both putting our clothes on to go to the ER, and nature took care of it, not in a pleasant way, but it did. And so far I've been okay after, but I have a sneaky suspicion that it is step one to some more issues with that blockage. So I tried to heal up over the weekend and do some things. I did some things outside, tried to keep moving, keep that blood flowing, keep everything, the digestive system moving, and tried to, eat a lot of softer stuff and just try to stay hydrated. And so far, so good. So it may be okay. So I apologize for not getting back quicker. It was exciting on another VO podcast that we got another episode out, and we talked about AI, and also very exciting that this week on Friday, an episode will air with Law Lapidus. And I do believe next month we're looking at having somebody on from marketing, because marketing's everything right now, correct? I mean, it's everything. It's what everybody should be doing, and it's at the tip of everyone's tongue. And speaking of that, You may have seen the post, humbled by every ounce of humbling that I can have, that although I had asked to come to VO Atlanta and present, I got the good news, bad news email from JMC, and thank you. He is going to have me at One Voice in Dallas in 2024, which will either be in August or September. They haven't set the date yet. But I'm very excited about that because I haven't been to One Voice yet, and that will be my first time in One Voice. I was a resident of that area when I was all of 5 and 6 years old. Lived out there in Richardson, Texas. So this will be the first time I've gone back other than passing through the airport since that time. So 54 years since I've been out there. And of course, we're going to be confined at the airport area with the convention center and all, but I'm sure we'll get out in the car and do something. So I'm really looking forward to that. And what I will be presenting on is targeted marketing, how to get started. And it's not a thing of, it's not a program. I don't sell anything. I don't push anything. It's me sharing information with you on how you can get started, and then you can move on to a good, strong marketing program and get with a coach or someone who has a program. And I don't favor any of them because I haven't done them. But it could be anyone from Paul Smith, Mark Scott, Tom Aglio, Tom Deere. There are a lot of people who offer that kind of marketing coaching and help. And I want to show you kind of the basic approach of how it works and why you need to do it and how it'll benefit you, how it benefited me early on in my career, how I went from relying on a couple of platforms to going, ooh, this isn't a good idea because what if they pull the plug on me? And I had a couple things happen on one of the platforms where I got worried. So that was my decision into, I got to start getting business coming in direct. And I started digging into it just through marketing experience I had on my own. So that's coming up. And I'm excited about all of that. Today, I'm not really talking about anything spot subject-wise other than it is the final quarter coming up. This is the end of September. And I want to ask you, are you prepared to finish strong? Because I'm going into this last quarter knowing I'm very, very close to have already made what I made last year. So it's going to give me the opportunity, and I'm guessing, let's not count October. Let's say November and December are probably the 2 months that will push me past where I was last year in total. So I'm very aggressive-minded right now for this quarter to be really good. And I know I have some things coming up with a certain client that if they are going to continue to use me, and I'm hoping they do, that they have several spots they do between now and the end of the year, and they are nice paying spots. I'm hoping that's going to come to fruition. But what I'm really going to rely on is me getting more prospects into my stream and working those prospects so that when I go into 2024, I go in strong. That's as important to me as coming out of 23 strong. I want to go into 24 even stronger. I want more people in the database. I want more people on my list. I want to be, getting those emails out. And the other thing is I have I got vacation coming up. So I'm trying to plan around all that because I want October to be strong, but I'm going to take a solid, the majority of 1 week off, Sunday to Thursday. I'll probably be back home Thursday afternoon, and knowing me, I'll be in here working Thursday afternoon, and then I'll work Friday and probably Saturday because it's just me. I'm going to make up for lost time. But are you planning to go out strong? Do you have systems set up? Did you have goals? Where are you in your goals? Are you close? Do you feel like you're going to make it? And do you need a push, to get through the end of the year to come out strong? And that's where I'm at. I needed a push. And in my accountability group, we talked about this today, actually this morning, that I've really got to push hard these last 3 months because I'm going to be close to my goal, I think, really close to my goal. But it's going to have to be one of these months is really got to be good. And if I can set the table for that, let's just say December is that month because December was pretty good last year. If I can set the table for that now at the end of September, 1st of October, then that would be great. So a lot of exciting news happened in September. The One Voice thing is just huge to me because it's the opportunity to get in front of a lot of other voice actors and maybe several who are way less experienced and just need some help. And I really hope that works out and that goes over well. And I really think they'll enjoy the presentation. The presentation's already done as far away as that is, but I use it to teach myself and to hold myself accountable, and I'll just fine-tune it for that, and I think it'll be great. And the other piece of the pie to that is they'll get to hear my story, how I got into VO, how in 18 months I went full-time, and how over these last 2 years, how it's progressed. And I think it'll be fun to share. It'll just be great. The other thing, recently signed with a new agent for radio imaging. I'm looking forward to that, seeing how that goes. I'm going to push that, work hard at it, give it a good full year and see, because it's a very hard market to break into. And if I can pick up 1 or 2 clients, just 1 or 2, I'm not looking for the moon, just 1 or 2 to add to the couple that I have, I'll be ecstatic with that, and we'll see how it goes. Also heading into the fourth quarter, I've got a birthday coming up, and that birthday also puts me in the fourth quarter. And I'm looking at that as, it's a little sad in some ways when we start getting to a certain age. And I kind of look at it as 20, 0 to 20, 20 to 40, 40 to 60, and then 60 on. And I'm not, quote unquote, retired. I'm not quitting. I'm not slowing down. But when you hit the age of 60, it makes you start thinking about things, because Social Security is eligible here in a couple of years. And, a lot of people do that at 62 or 65, some wait till 68, whatever. But you start thinking about your health. You start thinking about your family. You're seeing your kids are grown and gone, and there may or may not be grandkids. And there are so many things that have changed, and you look back and go, where did it all go? How did it go by so fast? So I'm trying to make sure that I appreciate every day, every moment, every opportunity, that I focus on those things and enjoy the goodness in this fourth quarter of life. And, sometimes the fourth quarter has a couple overtimes at the end, and that's what we're going to hope for and pray for. Give me a good, full, long fourth quarter with a couple overtimes, and it's all good. It'll all be fine. It has been a great year so far. I think there's been huge growth in the VO Life group. Thanks to so many people that have come in. We're happy to have you. There are a lot of more experienced people in the group. As of late, we're glad you're here. Please help these people that need to hear the absolute VO truth, that may have been hearing baloney other places, and they need to know what it's really like to build a career in voiceover. And yeah, I can be an example to a point, but some of you guys that have been in this for 10 years, 15 years, and you know how lean the first 3 to 5 years are, and what it takes to build your name and your brand and get a few agents and get your steady work and build your marketing and get your direct work going, and how to get all the spokes of the wheel feeding into the hub to where it's all working. Encourage these people and help them. And also I say on the other hand, and sometimes this sounds terrible, if they just aren't cutting it after a couple years, or they just won't get off their backside and make it happen, don't waste everybody's time. If you're not in here and you're not passionate about it and you really aren't going after it, you're just in here shopping and watching, and you're in 9 different groups and you're in there asking the same questions in all the groups, and, you're just reading and following, but you're not trying, get another hobby, because it's just a hobby. Maybe you're lonesome. Maybe you just like the company. But you need to be passionate about what's going on in these groups. You need to be passionately chasing it, passionately going to workshops, passionately finding a coach, being passionate about this industry. Are you donating to NAVA? That would be a nice first step, because they're helping with AI more than anyone we can think of, and they need help. It's all coming out of their pockets if they don't get help. And we can't drive them into bankruptcy to help us. That's not fair. So let's make sure we're helping them. We have to do that. Let's all do what we can. Be a member, and if you can donate more, donate more. That would be great, I'm certain. So don't just sit on the sidelines. Get involved. Practice, 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 work on your space, do the things you should be doing, start building a business, treat it like a business. Don't worry about some of the things that you think you have to have later that you see all of us may have because we've been doing this a little while. You may not need that yet, but what you do need is to learn the craft, and you need to practice the craft. And you're not going to get either one of those things accomplished by doing nothing but hanging around the groups and watching the answers and commenting. And I even see some people who are in this a year or so, and they're answering every question that comes up in the groups. Man, let those people that have really, really been there, done that, answer those questions. And this is probably going to make a bunch of people get out of the group because I'm saying this. And I'm not saying it being trite or being condescending or being ugly in any way, but let those voices of experience answer, and let them share what they went through. If you've only been doing this a short time, you haven't been through it. You might have seen the answer in another group and you're just replicating those answers. That's not helping. Let someone that's had the experience actually give the answers and actually help lead someone. And if you are not involved in a small group, you can call it whatever you want. I like the term a water cooler group, because in a regular job, people might gather around the water cooler at break and they're talking shop. Get in a water cooler group. 3-4 people with different levels of experience. Maybe one's got a year and a half, one's got a year, one's just getting started, and one's got 6 months. You guys can really help each other when you're doing that and listening to the experts and applying what they're telling you. You can really help yourself. Get in a water cooler group. Don't answer all the questions because you might not really know the answers. You've just heard answers somewhere else. Let those experienced people try to lead and help. There's a lot of things I don't answer in this group because I don't know yet. I haven't been through that, or I'm not the expert at that. I'm very basic in what I know. As far as what I know about my DAW, what I know about sound, what I know about treating a room and all that. It's what I've learned in groups and what I've learned from other experts. But I'm not going to jump in there and share all that because what worked for me may not work for you. You may not have a space you can do like I did. You may not have an extra room. You may not have a closet. You may have to do whatever you can do in the middle of a bedroom with things thrown over your head. I get that, and it works. It's fine, but that's not my experience, so I can't comment on that. All right. Yeah, okay. I hope I didn't make anybody mad or upset. That's not the intent. I want you to learn this business the right way. I want you to understand how long it takes. I want you to be transparent. I want you to be honest, and I want you to be smart about it. And you know what? It's like anything else. When I went to college and I was on a certain course of study, I hated it, so I stopped it and I started something else. What's the difference in this? If it's not working for you, if it's a struggle, if it frustrates you, if it's just not working, maybe there's another part of it that would work for you. Maybe it's the sound engineering. Maybe it is editing for other people. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. But don't let it frustrate you to the point to where you're in a group and you're being negative or you're being bothersome and you're not getting anywhere with it. It's a tough business, probably the toughest business I've ever gotten into. I was in the music business at one time. It's dog eat dog. There's no doubt. You're talking about Nashville and songwriting. I had a publishing contract, and I worked my butt off for a year. I decided to give it 1 year on that part of it, on the publishing part. And I had a band, and we were playing, and we were doing showcases during it was called Fanfare back then. So we'd play showcases at some of the clubs, and nothing went anywhere. And you know what I did after about a year? I said, you know what? This is now officially a full-out hobby. If I want to play around in the Moose Lodge and the VFW and play a little music, I can, but I'm not chasing it professionally anymore. And I stopped. And later years, because of my love for singing and as much as I enjoyed it, I felt the call to go sing gospel music. And I did that for 8-9 years. And it satisfied the creative urges for a while. And then voiceover came along. And it all paths lead to where you are, I'm sure. But I say all that to say this. Don't let it frustrate you. It can be a hobby. You don't have to go pro. And some people say, well, we don't need a bunch of amateurs in here goofing it up. You're right, but that's what some of these platforms are for. Go do those things. And if you like it and enjoy it and pick up an extra few hundred here and there, do that. But if you want to be a professional at it, if you think you want to do this on a pro level, do it the right way. Be coached, learn the craft, become a brain surgeon of VO. Don't be the janitor in VO. You can do it, I think, if you really, 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 really want it and you have some God-given talent. It can be done. All right, I've made enough enemies. I'm going to shut up. Hey, it's the end of September. Let's get into October strong. Let's be smart about it. Let's finish strong. I'm looking forward to a good final quarter. I'm not looking forward to the birthday thing. Hello. I'm not looking forward to the birthday thing, but it is what it is, right? We just got to fight through that. So let's all stay young, stay strong. I'm Troy. I'll see you next time right here at the VO Life.
This podcast was produced under the authority of the Podcast Police, who may or may not have investigated the host and guests prior to broadcasting. Any unlawful statements will be investigated further and persecuted to the fullest extent of the podcast law.
Well, whistle me, Dixie.